Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Will back at it with another video. Finally, after a little delay, I'm finally back here with another video. And today, as you can see by the title, I'm gonna do the Captain America: Brave New World review. The movie's been out for like a month now, maybe a little less, so like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But I wanted to do a review on it because I love watching so many movies and stuff, and my channel is just about me talking and stuff and me chatting it up. So without further ado, we could just get right into it. The first section of the movie is going to be a non-spoiler review. So like for the people that still haven't got the chance to see it or still want to watch or waiting to get on Disney Plus or a streaming service or something like that, they can watch the first half of the video, and I'm going to have like a segment like getting into spoilers so you guys can see when to click off. Unless you don't care, then you could watch this part and then get into the spoilers part as well. But for my non-spoiler part, I can just get into it. Captain America: Brave New World. I'm sure that whoever pays attention to movie reviews and stuff, they've seen mixed reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, I believe the audience score is, I could check later on the computer, but the audience score is higher than the actual tomato meter. And you shouldn't base your opinions off somebody else's opinions or other opinions on like Rotten Tomatoes, because that's really just a collection of people's opinions. You are your own person with your own eyes and your own opinions, so just watch the movie and see if you enjoy it. With that being said, I'm gonna offer my opinion and hopefully it can clear anything up. But the movie's good. I'm gonna just cut to the chase. I enjoyed the movie. The movie is good. It is a Captain America movie at its heart. And that's what I went for. That's what I went expecting. I'm not going to lie, I was a little guilty of hearing these reviews of Tomato Meter and, oh, this movie's this movie's that. And there was people I was also seeing that was like, yo, this movie's good. Don't listen to the reviews and stuff. It's an actual, like, good, enjoyable movie. And I listened to the other ones as well. So I went in and I enjoyed it. I saw it at the Disney Springs theater in Orlando, Florida, which is a great movie to watch it at. We watched it in the Dolby Theater, which is 3 stories high. But the movie's fire. The movie is a good, enjoyable movie. I watched it twice now. I went with my girlfriend the first time to watch it, and then I went with some friends after. Me and my girlfriend actually watched it twice, and she enjoyed it both times. And like she missed a part because she like fell asleep because we had a long day. It was Valentine's Day when we went to go see it when it came out. But she like saw the part that she missed, and she liked the movie more the second time than the first time, even though the first time she really liked it. But the movie's good. Watch it for yourself. Don't listen to the reviews because what the people were saying was not true. I don't think, in my opinion. There were some reviews and stuff like saying that it didn't feel like he was Cap and this, that, the third. No. Let's cut that out right now. As we know, leading up to the film, this is not really spoilers. If you're like one of those 2 or 3 people that haven't seen Endgame, I'm sorry. But the movie ends up with Captain America, old Steve, handing off the shield and passing it off to Falcon, which is nothing new, which is not anything out of the ordinary or something that Marvel tried to pull out their butt through the cinematic universe. No. Let me inform you guys that Sam Wilson has been Captain America in the comics. He is Captain America in the comics after Falcon. And also, the only other person that's really Captain America that is known is Bucky as well. But he handed it off to Sam, and that's how Endgame ended off. And at the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, we see Falcon, Sam Wilson, end up becoming Captain America. And that's just how it went. And now in this movie, it did a good job of showcasing how he has stepped in as Captain America and how he even evolves in this movie from being obviously like as Captain America, yes, but evolving into the next, I think, step. By the end of the movie, he's at the next step of Captain America, which is great. I love how in the movie they emphasize, some obvious things that Sam is not equipped with. I would say that's the best way to describe it. I think this is known. Sam's not taking the super soldier serum, and that's not a spoiler. That's just the super soldier serum was for Cap, and back then when they created it, we all know that he's not superpowered, and they touch on that, and they kind of do a great job of showing the character himself, you know, being able to handle that and like dealing with that and his thoughts and stuff, because that's something a normal person would do. You know, if let's say we live in a world with these superpowered things, if you're getting the mantle passed to you from a superpowered being and you're just normal, you're gonna struggle with the fact like, yo, I can't live up to this. I can't know how I could do this without this power. But they touch on that and they do a great job with that. Another big pointer I want to touch on in the movie, huge pointer, is Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, by him playing Thaddeus Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, which was played by the late William Hurt, who passed away in 2022. He played Thunderbolt Ross since 2008 when The Incredible Hulk came out, and he played it in, reprised the role, obviously, in Civil War. He had a role in Black Widow, Infinity War, we saw him, and he was at the funeral in Endgame as well. And I think that's the most times we've seen him. I might be missing one or two. I'm not sure. But anyways, so Harrison Ford comes in and reprises the role as they recast him, and he does a great, phenomenal job as Thunderbolt Ross. He is the most fleshed out character in the movie other than Sam himself, which is great. There are 2 stars of the movie, and the movie really focuses around Sam and Thunderbolt, which I liked. I liked a lot, and he did great as Thunderbolt Ross, and we see a build-up to stuff in the movie, and we see, like, progressively what causes what in the movie, which I will touch on in the spoiler segment of the movie. But other parts I want to touch on is Joaquin as the new Falcon. Obviously, we saw that there's 2 flying beings in the trailer, as we can see here, or in the movie, as we can see in the clip that I'm going to insert here. We see there's 2 Falcons. Joaquin was played by, let me go get the actor's name. His last name is Torres, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I mixed it up. Joaquin Torres is the obviously character's name in the movie, but it is played by Danny Ramirez, who did a great job as him. He was, you know, kind of like the comedic relief in the movie, but he did a great job at it. He was serious in points, and then he was also like serious, and he was able to evoke, obviously, being the young guy on the block, the sidekick, while we have Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson and Captain America maturing into that Captain America role, which is a part of the way that I described how he evolves into, he steps in those shoes, and I feel like he fills them and creates his own shoes. And I found here the Rotten Tomatoes score is 48%. But if I go to Rotten Tomatoes and I go to the audience score, it's at 80%. So that means people that are watching the movie, the normal people, are enjoying it. It's the people that are the critics and stuff, they're not digging it. And I could see here, like, I found it absolutely impossible to get interested in it. The writing is at its very best functional. Like, you're trying to pop it way too hard. Respectfully, you probably don't even like a good plate of seasoned fries. Like, come on, Mark from Mayo's Take. Like, bro, it was not hard to get interested in. If you are not a fan of espionage, if you're not a fan of, you know, like some shady stuff going on in movies, some interesting parts, there's espionage, there's politics, but it's like politics in a good way, I guess, like superhero politics almost, that have to do with like resources that were found based on the Celestial that was out of the planet from Eternals, which is not a spoiler, it was in the trailer, but they finally acknowledged that too. So this movie did a good job of acknowledging stuff that Marvel tends to forget about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Marvel fanatic, but I'm gonna call it out when I see it. They be putting stuff that they forget about or don't acknowledge, and it's kind of hard with such a big universe, but they got to do a better job at not throwing stuff out there and just forgetting about, like, they're like, for example, like a giant being, a giant celestial poking out of the planet, and there's not a mention of it after Eternals. Like, no. There was a article on it, I'm pretty sure, in if it was not Spider-Man No Way Home during the Daily Bugle, but She-Hulk maybe had it in the newspaper, but I'm not too sure. Honestly. I'm making sure I don't miss anything on the computer here, but like yeah. That's the only part that I kind of griped on. But I'm glad that they, you know, didn't forget about it, and they made it worth, you know, I guess the time that was there by making it important to where the universe is at now. But overall, for the spoiler review, there's good characters. There's like obviously your side antagonists that have their thing to do. The main villain, they didn't really lead to him, and I kind of don't want to spoil it yet. But the main villain, and I guess that's kind of a problem with the movie. There is the main villain, but there's also, I don't know how to describe it. You just have to watch the movie, but there is a main villain, but this main villain kind of makes someone else almost look like an antagonist as well, when it's not necessarily that. But this whole character is based around whether or not he's the antagonist or not from the comics. And I'm talking about Thunderbolt Ross. That's not really a spoiler. This is known, really. He's shady, but he's not. It's a conflicting character, and Harrison Ford does a great way of evoking that, which I guess what makes his character so good is understanding that you don't know where to consider him. And Red Hulk, obviously we've seen the promotional videos. I loved him. I loved when he was on screen. But all I'm going to say is they needed to do more. But that's not to say, like, go to the movie and be like, nah, I'm not finna watch it if Will's saying this or that. I'm sure my opinion does not matter that much. I just like to talk. But that's really a sum up for the movie, really. Touching up on characters. The plot was good. Like I said, espionage and politics and some shady stuff's going on where this main villain is kind of seeming other people seem like stuff. That's a big part of the plot. But overall, the movie's good. If I had to give it a meter based on my liking on the Will meter, I give it a power of 8 Will. You feel what I'm saying? Ha, no pun intended. All the way pun intended. I give it 8 willpower on the willpower scale up to 10. I give it an 8. I was sitting at a 7.5 the first time I watched it, but I honestly could not stop thinking about the movie, and I enjoyed Cap so much. I enjoyed Sam Wilson as Cap so much, and how badass in my eyes he is with the suit too. That I rewatched it and I enjoyed the movie a lot, and it went by fast. So I was like, nah, this is an 8 on my willpower scale, and flat out I'm gonna give it that. With that being said, we're gonna cut into the spoiler review now. All right, so if you want to watch the movie and don't want to get into no spoilers and enjoy listening to the thing, I would click off now because I'm about to get into spoilers, so you've been warned. Anyways, for the spoiler review, the movie, I don't want to kind of give a summary of the movie, but I kind of want to touch on some stuff. I like how when the movie started off, we see Harrison Ford coming out, and he's talking about, you know, whatever he's talking about. You know, it's just like it's almost like a presidential thing or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. He came out and talking, established him. Obviously established him as the new Thunderbolt Ross. I think Marvel wanted to establish the fact that Harrison Ford is Thunderbolt Ross now. He is recasted. He is a character here that they're not just going to throw in later. You're going to be like, oh, wait, who is he supposed to be? Nah, they threw him front and center and said, this is Thunderbolt Ross, so the audience knows. So that's a great way by them. We kind of already knew that Thunderbolt Ross was finna be on some weird shit, but we'll get on there later, but there's a reason for this. But anyways, the movie carries on. We end up seeing Cap again, reprising his role. He comes in the white and blue suit. He pulls up on the Serpent Society, which I'm not going to lie, in the movie, don't bring in a group of people or a Serpent Society like we know it, and just they threw him to the side. They threw Sidewinder to the side really until the end, played by Giancarlo Esposito, which is a great actor. But don't bring in a actual like good group of villains from Marvel, from the comics, and just use them as second fiddle, not even second fiddle, third fiddle, because there's already 2 fiddles in the movie. We have the leader, which is the main villain, like I was talking about in the non-spoiler review, but without saying who it was. And then we have the Red Hulk, Harrison Ford, which is the second antagonist slash conflicted character, I would say. And then we have the Serpent Society that's also evil, that Captain America, like I said in the beginning of the movie, he pulls up on them and he's trying to recover a package for them, or recover a it's a MacGuffin, but not really a MacGuffin, because it has I don't know if that was the right thing for it, but he's trying to recover something for the government. It ends up being adamantium, as we find out, and it's being held at a very hot thing, so if they drop it, it explodes or anything, and the adamantium's ruined. But they were trying to get the adamantium that the Serpent Society ended up having. And I figured, as we go in, we know the Marvel MCU formula. The movie opens and stuff. There's going to be an action scene to get the people on and stuff. That's just how it goes. But I knew it was coming. It was a good action sequence. I like how he utilizes his vibranium wing steel that he got at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he got his suit from Wakanda, excuse me. And he obviously is able to release that kinetic energy that is stored up, that we know that Shuri created for Black Panther in the 2018 film, which I actually just watched yesterday with my girlfriend, and that is her favorite MCU movie so far. We're doing a Marvel movie marathon. Sorry for the tangent. And we're about to be on Infinity War on Friday. Anyways, so we see that. We see the return of that. We see the return of the white suit. If you guys notice, for the people that did watch the series, he doesn't have the cowl no more, and that's because the actual actor does not like the cowl, because it's extremely immovable, and it's like fogging up his glasses and stuff. But anyways, that's just a side piece of information. But it was a great fight scene. We ended up seeing the new Falcon, Joaquin, pull up, played by Danny Ramirez, pull up, and he did his thing, was able to secure the adamantium while Sam was rescuing the hostages, and made sure to rescue the hostages and not forget about them, because that's what Captain America does. The people come first before any mission, is saving innocent lives. And that's what they did. His hand-to-hand combat in this first sequence is just fire. When he grabs the cinder block, he punches it, and he uses it to beat cut ass. That was fire. And like, he was gonna be ruthless, but then he just threw him on the floor because he was already beaten. But we see Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder. Esposito, I should know better. As Sidewinder, and he does great with Sidewinder. But I'm not going to lie, it was short-lived. He had another scene later in the movie when he tried to kill Captain America out of nowhere on some Winter Soldier stuff. If you know what I'm trying to say, the Nick Fury scene, that was kind of a love letter to that scene, I feel like. Which this whole movie, I feel like, was a love letter to a lot of Marvel films and maybe some outside films, but it was definitely a love letter to Winter Soldier. I definitely got Winter Soldier vibes from this movie. Not to say that this movie is on any level of Winter Soldier. No, this movie is on its own. Like, this movie is on its own thing. Winter Soldier is on its own thing. That's top 5 MCU movie. This movie is not, I don't think, top 10 at all. Needless to say, this movie is still really good to me, or enjoyable to me, because I like it, and I'm a fan of Sam Wilson Cat. But anyways, so after that all finishes and stuff, the Serpent Society is completely thrown to the side. There was a good final hand-to-hand battle between Sam and this big dude. He got his ass whipped by Cap. They fought. Even though he got stabbed, it showed how tough Cap was. And he applied that pressure and gave a nice little love letter when he kicked the shield back up on his arm. But anyways, we're fast tracking. We can move all past that. I really enjoyed the fact that they introduced adamantium when they ended up, being inside the White House, and Harrison Ford was going over like the presentation about the Celestial, and they found the strongest new metal on Earth, or substance in the world, which is adamantium. But how they got there was, we obviously saw Isaiah Riggin, the black super soldier, who was Captain America as well, that they threw to the side, and they got into a story into Falcon and Winter Soldier. They covered all of that. They talked about that. They shot him in prison. They popped him in prison after bro was like their Captain America, and they kept him on the low. So that was really messed up. He was also a super soldier. But we see him return back, and he's like a trainer for Sam. He's almost like his trainer and stuff, and his friend. And Sam has to take a call. It's Thunderbolt, and he, obviously Isaiah, being done wrong by the U.S. government, does not like the U.S. government at all. And since Sam is Captain America, he's working with the government, and Isaiah doesn't like that because of what happened to him, and Isaiah's trying to get him to trust him. So he convinces him to go to the White House, and this is where almost everything starts to go wrong. And the trailer, for some reason, I really did not know Isaiah was the one that was tweaking out, that threw the table and stuff and was trying to shoot President Ross, but he went. They all went, and then there's a sound that comes on the intercom that just it's just a song that plays, and then it's almost like a trigger. Well, we could tell. I could tell that was like a trigger thing for him because there's no. We know if you're paying attention, there's no like viable reason to stand up and do that when he is already like been already, I guess, okay with what happened, and he kind of like let it go. And he wasn't bitter because of what Falcon did, or Captain America did, sorry, at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But anyways, he went to go shoot him after this trigger song was played. A couple people turned and were trying to shoot and stuff, and Ross wasn't killed, but he was going for adamantium, and adamantium is what the Celestials were made out of. And if we know, our Marvel fans or our Marvel knowledge people know that Mr. Wolverine, skeleton, and claws is made out of adamantium that is infused to his bones because of Mr. William Stryker. And he's made out of adamantium. So we know the main thing of adamantium belongs to Mr. Wolverine. So I don't know if this is their way to, get this substance in the world to then later build onto giving us a Weapon X movie or a Wolverine movie. But I also like that. I like how, it played into the espionage and shady political part of him trying to kill him. And obviously, we know it's shady. We know it's not something he did because when he went to go visit him, when Captain America went to go visit Isaiah at the jail, he told him, I didn't do this. I just literally blacked out and I woke up. One moment I was sitting down and the other moment I was in the park after you guys were chasing me. Like, I don't know what happened. There's something that happened. I would not do that. And Sam believes him. He's going to figure it out. They end up going on a whole quest to figure it out. The leader, Samuel Stearns, who reprises his role from 2008 Incredible Hulk, played by whatever his name is. I don't really care right now. But the leader is back, but he's held in this Camp Echo 1 or Echo Base in a non-disclosed location. He's being held there, but he's pulling all the strings from there. And then after they go and do their mission over there, everyone's kind of all in the loop. The leader ends up calling Thunderbolt Ross, telling him that he's basically going to turn and he's going to try to drag him in the mud because he's the president he's the president now, while Samuel Stern sitting in the back after he was giving him treatment that we find out that turned him into the Red Hulk. Like, he's obviously pissed, and throughout the movie, he's trying to keep on blackmailing him and just almost expose him, which he ends up doing at the end. But anyways, we find Sam and also Falcon going on a mission to get the leader, figure out what they need to figure out what's being held there, and because they also found that Isaiah was getting light flashes from the phone, so they know someone's doing this. They know someone's controlling this and trying to basically destabilize the American government. But Sidewinder 2, like I said, passed. The thing that caused them to go looking for them after they knew something was up was Sidewinder being controlled by the leader, as we could see by his blue eyes, tries to kill him on some freaking Nick Fury Winter Soldier scene with the police. That's basically the same vibe it gave. Winter Soldier kind of kicked his ass after he was stabbed and stuff or shot. He kicked his ass. They went on the mission. They found the leader, but they found out that Red Hulk has heart problems, Thaddeus Ross has heart problems, is taking gamma radiation pills, which we obviously end up seeing the side effects of that later in the movie. But so they get into all of that. They do all of that stuff. They end up getting out. He escapes. He gets away. Yada, yada, yada. Then they got to go to Thunderbolt Ross because the leader's trying to get Japan and America and all these countries against each other and trying to make them look bad because of all this stuff. And they end up being in the Pacific Ocean where they're trying to get adamantium. And this is where this whole fight happens. Thunderbolt Ross is being literally like blackmailed and also like instigated by the leader who keeps on pesting him, and he's like trying to unlock this Red Hulk out of him to really embarrass him, which ends up happening at the end of the movie. It embarrasses him and obviously makes him look bad, and it exposes that he is a liar, which he was kind of doing, which is true, which makes him also an antagonist. But overall, there's some great action scenes. There's a great action sequence in there too in the semifinal battle in the Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean where the Celestials at. There's some great fight scenes. One of my favorite scenes, if not the favorite scene in the movie, is when Falcon throws out his shield or deploys the shield, and Red Wing's holding the shield, and it's blocking the shots from the Japan or American Air Force craft that's hijacked because of the leader. And it's shooting him, and he's flying this way, but the shield is back here taking the shot. So it's like, brrr, and he keeps flying. Both times it happened in the movie theater, I told my girlfriend, bro, that is so fire. That is so fire. So there's some great action sequences there. We see how Falcon, you know, his fighting style obviously is different to Steve's. He's able to fight aerial combat. No super soldier serum, but he has some very powerful things that also help him in the fight. And yeah, and then we cut chase. Everything finishes there. Japan was able to hold off their fire after Captain America was able to get the planes out of the air, get the soldiers back in their right mindset. They go. The leader ends up leaving his hiding, obviously, and he starts to just get his plan rolling to destabilize Ross and the American government. And the army found out what was in the radiation pills, and before they could get to Ross, the leader killed him. And then we cut to the end of the movie, basically. I'm just making this a long story short so y'all can kind of understand what's going on and why I think some things are happening. But the leader and Sam almost meet. The leader basically tells him, like, I'm trying to expose bro. Like, I'm trying to make bro look bad. I'm going to drag him down with me because while I'm finding a cure for him and doing what he wants, he's out here, you know, being perfect and stuff. When he's coming to me, you know, for help to still live after his heart attack and his heart problems, he did everything he wanted and he's locked up in a jail. Like, you got to understand, he obviously has his motives against Ross. And Ross is just like being this liar and a manipulator almost. And he ended up getting to expose him. He ended up almost getting himself caught and arrested, and tries to make a bet with Cap that he's going to die against Red Hulk, which obviously didn't end up happening. And he ends up hijacking the press conference he's having and just blackmails bro, or just starts shit-talking him until he turns into the Red Hulk, because he got so angry that their reaction from all the gamma radiation finally turned him into the Red Hulk. And I love how they went comic accurate with him and included his burning skin that burned off the clothes because he gets so hot. And he doesn't get stronger with the anger he gets. He just gets harder with the anger he gets. And the movie didn't touch on that, but it did get into like his burning skin and stuff to burn off his clothes. So that was a great part of the movie, but it was 7 seconds long. The Red Hulk was a part of the movie for 7 minutes. This is my issue. I don't have an issue that he was there at the end of the movie because they built up to it correctly. My issue is Marvel marketed this movie around Red Hulk. They marketed around a Cap versus Red Hulk. They marketed Red Hulk so bad in the movie that you would think that bro would be in the movie longer than 7 minutes. And that's why I understand the people's problem. These people have a problem that they marketed the movie so hard, promotional material, toys, whatever. Obviously, they're going to do their toys. But don't push Red Hulk so hard in the trailers or even reveal him. Make me a marketing. I'm going to school for digital media and stuff, but I want to tie it into marketing. Bruh, if I'm the head of this movie and knowing at the end of the movie that Red Hulk's going to come, leave it in as a surprise. That would make people enjoy the movie so much more if you're leaving it as a surprise. Market the leader as the antagonist, the main villain. He is the main villain. Market him as it, but don't show him. Just market him with his voice, messing everything up, and don't market the Red Hulk. Leave it as a surprise. Leaving Red Hulk at the end as a surprise would honestly probably make the movie reviews even better. That they ended up actually having the Red Hulk in the movie, but completely not showing it. I feel like that was the business move for them, and they messed up with that business move pretty bad. And I feel like that's why the movie kind of got its reviews, because it's setting an expectation of what people are thinking they're going to see with all this stuff. And then the people walk out like this because they're like, yo, Red Hulk. They're thinking Red Hulk's going to come halfway in the movie. Nah, bro. Nah. And they built up correctly to it. That's the thing. They did it right by building up to him becoming Red Hulk, which is why Harrison Ford did amazing as playing Thunderbolt Ross and then getting into the anger factor by obviously showing his episodes of getting so angry to the point like some of his things start engulfing and we see the red veins and all that on the submarine. But they messed up on that because they did something right, but they also did something wrong. But their wrong overshadowed their right, which made the movie obviously criticized more because of that, because they based it around that. And I myself walked out the movie and I'm like, yo, like, I'm underwhelmed. I told my girl, I was like, yo, I'm underwhelmed, bro. Like, don't tease me with all this Red Hulk shit and tickle my nuts if we're not finna get, bro, longer than 7 minutes. But the end fight scene was awesome. You know, it was good for what it was. It was a little underwhelming, but it was good for what it was. Cap was able to establish at the end of the movie that he is the Captain America. And people were referring to him in the movies at the bar in the beginning of the movie and stuff. Government employees, comrades, colleagues were all referring to him as Cap. All referring to him as Cap because he is Captain America. And one thing I want to touch on before I forget. In the movie, towards the beginning, when they're in the White House and Thunderbolt wants to meet with Sam, he establishes, like, I want you to rebuild the Avengers. The Avengers are broken up, which is established from Sam. He says they are broken up. But he wants to establish that the Avengers need to be rebuilt. And that's why he goes to Sam about it. And he's responsible for building the Avengers. At the end of the movie, Sam knows his responsibility is to rebuild the Avengers. How he's going to do it, I'm not sure. I'm sure we're going to see it in Avengers Doomsday, hopefully. They don't just throw a group of heroes at us and expect, like, oh, the Avengers are a thing now. No. Get Cap to rebuild the Avengers for the threat that's coming in Doctor Doom. How they're going to do that without a movie leading up to that, I'm not too sure. I think that is an Avengers thing because it's an Avengers movie. So get them for the first maybe, I don't even know. I don't know if it's based on the runtime, but if you want to take the first hour for them to get the team together, do that. Maybe less. But that's established. And Red Hulk ends up going to the raft, which we see Thunderbolt put the Avengers in, and he himself put Sam Wilson in. Now he is behind the bars at Raft Prison, and Sam's on the other side telling him that he was wrong. And he actually admits that he's wrong. He's regretful about it. And he mentions Betty and the thing, and they're on the phone and all the cherry blossoms and that they miss her. And he just wants to be good for Betty. That's the sympathetic and empathetic part of him that also the people can understand, the audience. And she ends up coming, making her cameo at the end of the movie. And which is basically they wanted to talk to each other. And they kind of did that off screen or whatever. But that was established. So that was kind of his full circle moment in a bad way. Almost like in a bad rewarding way for that almost. But post-credit scene, there's only one, and it's Samuel Stearns alluding to Secret Wars. Right when he was talking about, I've seen all the algorithms, because he obviously has an enhanced intelligence now of probability and all this stuff because of what Gamma did to his brain at the end of 2008 Incredible Hulk. He basically says that you guys think you're the only world, something along the lines of that. But there's others just like you, and they're going to be ready to fight to basically, he mentions the incursion of all these worlds colliding, and the heroes are going to try to protect their worlds, which is what happens at the beginning of 2015 Secret Wars that I think I have in my my drawer, which I read the entire comic. So I already knew what he was alluding to in the theater, so I told my girlfriend, like, I already know what bro's talking about. And I, like, said word for word one of the last things he says in the post-credit scene. Like, I said it before he said it, and my girlfriend looked at me like, how did you know that? I'm like, bruh, I already know. But I'm not trying to be no Sherm dude that thinks he know it all. I don't know it all. But I knew enough to know that. And they're alluding to Secret Wars. Marvel's already giving us our hints to Secret Wars. We got our Captain America will return. We know he's going to return at least in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. But yeah, honestly, the post-credit scene alluded to that, but there's no more post-credit scene. So yeah, but overall, that's the sum of the movie. I think it's great. I gave you my nitpicks. I gave you the things I liked about it. The action was great. I liked the action a lot. The story mostly I liked. There's just those, oh, sorry for shaking. There's just those little bits that, you know, I wasn't a fan of. And most of it really has to do with the brand itself of Marvel not marketing stuff correctly. But other than that, guys, that's been my review of Captain America Brave New World. You guys should go watch it. Go see it in theaters. If you're still there, take a level and go by yourself. Do whatever you got to do. Or just watch it when it goes on stream. But stay tuned for more videos, guys. I got a Cars and Coffee vlog coming this Saturday. I don't think I would have it posted by Saturday, but I should have it posted by Sunday. I'm going to go to a Cars and Coffee with my dad. We're going to go into Corvette out, and we're going to go see some nice cars. I'm going to get a vlog of that. Just taking y'all, this whole channel is just based around me talking about things I like, vlogging things that I love doing, and it's just a channel about It's Been Will. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for those that are tuning in. Send a link to your friends, your family, whatever. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite Marvel movie. Give me your top 5 Marvel movies, guys. Please give me your top 5. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thank you for tuning in, and It's Been Will.